Next, 100 point for Lane Hutson.
That's tough. I mean, the last 100-point defenseman was Erik Karlsson, and he won the Norris Trophy on a bad San Jose team. I don't know if he's going to get 100 points. I think the guy, to be honest, I saw it in the chat. I think the guy that's going to get 100 points for Montreal, and I said it on TSN, is Nick Suzuki. The way he's making jumps with points, like the way he's been jumping points lately, I think he needs 11. If he makes another 11-point jump, he hits 100 points. Like, I think he can do it. I think he has the ability to do it. I don't know if Hudson's going to, maybe down the road, but it's so tough to get 100 points as a defenseman in the National Hockey League. It really is.
Guys, like, let me put it to you this way. I hope he doesn't get 100 points. Like, like how do you have a winning hockey team with a defenseman with 100 points? Like you said, San Jose, like Karlsson got 100 points, but that's because he was like a rover out there, right? Like he was like minus 50 or something like that. Like, I want Hutson to be productive and everything, but I'd much rather him have like 60, 70 points and, play well on both sides of the ice and not like going after a 100-point season. Your power play would have to be off the charts. Your 5-on-5 play would have to be just insane. And I'd be a little concerned about what he's giving up on the other side if he's doing that.
Yeah, right? Me too.
It's summer, right? We're having fun conversations. I forget, somebody brought it up, like the only 3 defensemen that could potentially do this right now are Hughes and Makar, and then they put Hutson in that conversation. I don't know, man. Like, it's so speculative at this stage. Like, the kid has like 1 season in the NHL. We all love him. Like, he's an electrifying player, but like, let's not be surprised if he takes a bit of a step back this year, even too, right? Like, these things are not linear, guys. I give Lane
all you can't have career seasons every year. You can't have a career year every year. It doesn't happen.
Yeah. And the thing with Hutson, like this is the one thing that I give major props to the management team for the Habs is they've made bets on players that have amazing character, right? So Hutson, that's why they drafted Slafkovsky over somebody like Shane Wright, because they just had a sense that they would be able to thrive in this marketplace. And I think that was the biggest revelation about Lane Hutson that all of us learned about him even more last year is the like commitment, like the hockey nerd, like extra level that he has, like how committed he is to the game and loves the game and how serious he is about becoming a better hockey player. So I always bet on guys like that have like Jim, you've heard that, right? Like the best players in the league are also the hardest working players in the league, like Crosby, all those guys. So that's what Hutson has going for him is his work ethic. So I think he'll do great. But 100 points, guys, like I said, I'm not even sure I want to see what that season would look like from a team perspective.
No, that would be a bad season if he's doing that. Like, I'm be honest. For a team that's expected to make playoffs and start to get in their Stanley Cup window within the next year or two, like you can't be having 100-point seasons. Like I said, the only guy to me, in my opinion, and this is a good thing, not like if Hudson's doing it, then the team's playing poor. But if a guy like Suzuki's hitting 100 points, that means the team's doing well, in my opinion.
Yeah, we've had this debate here for a while too, Jim, right? Like, and I think I mentioned this on the show. Like, I wouldn't even be like, you're right. Suzuki's, progress, his production has gone up progressively year over year. And I've said it on here a couple of weeks ago. I wouldn't be surprised if this is the first year where we either see him plateau or maybe even take a bit of a step back. Just again, in favor of that overall team game. Because if you follow Montreal, the huge problem is goals against, right? Like, I think we're all pretty confident the power play is going to be better this year. Like, they finished 21st last year. So I think they need to have like at least a top 10 power play in the NHL with who they're going to be rolling out there. But again, with Suzuki, for years, Jim, we were debating on here, like, is Nick Suzuki, like, can he be the next Patrice Bergeron, like, kind of guy, right? And Patrice Bergeron, when you look back at him, I think he only had over 70 points once in his whole career.
Yeah.
Right. So to me, like, if Nick Suzuki is like an 80, 85 point player, but he's also like a plus 25 and they're winning hockey games, I'm totally fine with that. I don't have a huge preoccupation with, like, there's not a lot of teams that win the cup that have 100-point players on their teams. I think that's a thing, right? Like, I think, isn't that actually a stat? Like, no team that's won the cup over the last several years had a 100-point player.
I'd have to go back to the 22 Avalanche. Like I'd have to look,
Yeah.
but I think McKinnon missed time and Rantanen missed time, so I don't know if they got. I don't know if they got up to 100 points that year. Maybe, but they had like a bunch of guys and they got knocked out that one year where they had like a ton of dudes that had 100 points and they all got knocked out. Yeah, that's why that's why the Avalanche kind of stick out to me because I think like I don't even know if they did anything. Like I'd have to look, you know.
Again, my point is like you might have an outlier here or there, but a lot of like, you know, we're in Canada, right? So we get a lot of Toronto media, Jim. I'm sure you see a lot of the TSN stuff.
Oh yeah.
During this Matthews era, there seems to be a huge fixation on what I call the superstar model, right? Like you can't win without a superstar. You can't win with like, you know, players that are getting over 100 points. And like I said, I much prefer like kind of like you know, even though they routinely get knocked out in the semifinals, Carolina Hurricanes have made it to the conference final like 7 years or 5 years in a row or something like I forget the number. But to me, the model that you want to go for is like that, having a balanced roster, not being top heavy and all those things, right? So, and that manifests itself in terms of having 100-point players, right? Like to me, the biggest downfall, we were talking about Edmonton earlier, it's almost like you have two teams. You have like McDavid and Draisaitl, and they're coached a certain way. And then the other guys, they don't even have a role. Like that was a huge thing in a lot of the exit interviews with those Leafs teams is the players were leaving the organization. They're like, I just didn't feel like I had a role here. You know, like, so to me, you know, having a balanced lineup like that, we don't need to be size queens when it comes to, you know, it's 100-point players. You know what I mean?
So, all right. So I had to look this up. So I just did for fun. So Colorado in 2001, Joe Sakic, 118 points. I went back like the last couple of years to Stanley Cup winners. No one 100 points. So I'm like, there's probably somebody that I'm missing in like the 2010s. Probably maybe one of those Penguins teams. Maybe somebody had it. But the fact that I have to think the first team I think of is the 01 Avalanche, that's saying something to your balance point.
Thank you to watching another Habs Nation video. But before we leave, we invite you, don't forget to click on the like, subscribe to the channel, and finally let us a comment about this video. And remember, you have greatness inside of you, and we wishes you an amazing, great, and blessing day.